These my dollars make it hurt.
What's up, everybody? What's up? What's going on tonight? Welcome to a special edition of the Big Time Show. Usually, as most of you know, I come on Saturdays at 3 o'clock, and of course on Mondays, Monday night at 7 p.m. But on tonight, special edition, as you can tell by my background tonight, we're not talking cowboy talk tonight at all, not 1 inch. You got to join me on tomorrow to talk Cowboys. Actually, I was on earlier today with West Coast and Jay Tuck as we talked about the latest in Dallas Cowboy news. I'll probably touch on that tomorrow. But tonight, special edition of the show. As you know, this show that I do was based off primarily the Cowboys, but for those that are close to me knows that I am a diehard Laker fan. The same intensity that I have for the Cowboys is the same intensity that I have for the Lakers. I've been a Laker fan since 1979. Old enough to remember that when Magic first came to the Lakers, so my history runs deep. I was 6 years old when Magic, of course, led the team to the championship in his rookie year, and I've been rolling with him since. Especially, of course, all the wars with the Celtics and the 76ers in the 80s. Of course, suffered with them in the 90s to the latter end with Kobe and Shaq taking over. And then, of course, Kobe later on. So I've had a lot of smiling days because of the Lakers. I've also had, just as well some rough years with them as well. But once you get the purple and gold into your bloodline, into your system, it's hard to let go. I even had, was a fan. I did not turn my card in as we welcomed LeBron James to the team, who I was never a fan of, but respected him, knew who he was, of course, and know how great he was. I just didn't want him on my team because of the way that they were trying to anoint him as the king, but he ain't never won nothing. And yet Kobe Bryant was still in his prime, and there's nowhere in the world you can say at a particular time that LeBron was better than Kobe. And so that little war that we had waiting on LeBron to meet Kobe in the finals, that never happened, waiting on him. finally show up, but he never did. So I've never been a LeBron worshiper or fan or anything, but as I said before, respected him because he is, without a doubt, whether you like him or not, he is one of the all-time greats. No question about it. He's earned the right to say that. His numbers, of course, speak for themselves. He is one of the all-time greats that cannot be taken away. He's on that level that if you're gonna say people are better than him, you can't name but a few names. That's how good he is. He may only throw it maybe one or two. Maybe, that's it. I watched a lot of ball in my life. I've never seen nobody like him. Not saying he's the greatest. Of course, Jordan, in my view, was the greatest, but it still does not negate the fact that we've never seen nobody like him. So he's a special ball player. You can't take it from him. That don't mean that I crazy about him, but he's a champion. He put a banner up for us, and can't take that from him. Whether you want to say it's the bubble championship or whatever, he is great. I just want to speak to everybody, even though some of you are looking at it, but you haven't said anything, so I don't know who's watching. But thank you for popping in on me. And so tonight, I want to take it just a little different based off of what happened last night. Whether you want to admit it or not, history was made last night. No matter how you feel about it or how you feel like it was set up or whatever, the bottom line is history was made as Bronny James was. Hey Franklin, how you doing, sir? Bronny James was selected by the Lakers at pick 55, and because of that, he is now there's a great possibility now for sure that he will be teammates with his dad, to be the first father-son duo to ever play in the game. That's history. Partly because the chances of us seeing this again, is slim to none. And then when you take in the fact that LeBron James is still good, I mean, he's still playing at an all NBA level for even after year 21. That's crazy. To be good this long and still is considered to be the man. I'm not saying he's the best player in the league, but he's definitely top 10. Even at by the time the season started, he'd be 40 years old. And so, as you know, he was drafted last night at pick 55, second round. And the amount, my angle, there's a lot of angles to this whole story. And we would be all night talking about it if we were just start finding different angles. But what I want to talk about tonight is one of those or two of those angles about the hatred, the negativity, and the I'm not gonna say assumptions, the pure negativity that came from this, from a whole lot of brothers, a whole lot of men, black and white men, just had a real issue with this happening. So this is what I want to talk about on tonight briefly, and I'm just going to throw out some facts. See, I'm going to say this now. Number one is this. A lot of people that had a problem with this have got to admit the obvious. Number one, you just don't like LeBron James. You actually can't stand him. You don't like him. And because you don't like him, and this ain't just started for a lot of people, they have not liked him for years. And so when something like this happens, in my estimation, a great thing happened last night. But because of the hatred, and I mean hatred, for LeBron James, you will have a biased view. You will have automatically a biased view, and there is nothing that LeBron can do that will make you won't even compliment him. Let's go back a couple years ago when Bronny was in high school. Number one, LeBron said that he wanted to play with his son. That's when the talk of retirement started. He said he was not going to retire, and hopefully, barring serious injury, he wanted to play with his son. Now, I don't know how much stock people put into that. He said it. He said it years ago. Bronny was just in high school. So evidently, number one, LeBron knew his son had the type of talent, number one, that can get him to an NBA level. That's number one. It's only if it ain't everybody make the league. Everybody don't make the league. It's only a select few that makes the league. Once you add up all the college players and then one, of course, the NBA, you can come out of high school or, listen, there's only, and when you add all those up, there's only, you just look at the draft, first round, 32 teams in the second round. That's only 64 people that make it to the league. Of course, there's G League and then there's overseas ball and everything else, but 64 people out of all the college people that play, out of all the high school people that are good and all that, only 64. Bron said that he wanted to play with his son, so he knew. Why wouldn't he know? He spent the time with him. He knows what an NBA player looks like. He knows what it takes to get there. He knows what's inside of his son. Spent the time with him, so he knows. So he had already said he wanted to play with his son. So he knew that his son was going to get there. Number two, and what people are underestimating is this. Bronny can play. See, some folks are taking this approach that things were just handed to him. And some of it was. Let's be realistic. Some of it was. But that doesn't mean the kid can't play. Just in case you don't know, the kid was an All-American, high school McDonald's All-American. He earned that because you had to play to make that. Nobody is that. Actually, it's a background Hunt's point, but since have the angle like a cell phone, like a YouTube short, if I spread it out, you can see it, but I can't do it now because I already started. It's a background, a Laker background. That's what it is. I'm not talking Cowboys tonight. I'm talking Lakers and Bronny and LeBron. Check me out tomorrow. I'm talking Cowboys tomorrow. But Bronny can play. He earned a scholarship to college. Everybody don't get those. He went to a prominent school. He went to USC, prominent college. They just don't hand out scholarships. You know what I'm saying? So the kid can play, contrary to what I saw in a lot of chats today and last night. People think that he just glided his way through all. No. He played on the USA under 17 team. Do you know how many good players under 17 there are to represent their country? So we can't just dismiss that the kid can't play. Is he the greatest player out of high school? No. Unfortunately, because of his name, people automatically are going to compare him to his daddy, and that's only one LeBron James. God don't, you know what I'm saying, put all that in one person every year. LeBron is special. He's been special since high school. He was a man among boys playing um, when he was in high school. LeBron is different. He's just different. The Lord kind of stayed on him a little bit longer, giving him his gifts than regular other basketball players. It's just that simple. I ain't just a fan of LeBron. Never even know he played for my team. But you'd be a fool to just it totally dismiss that the man ain't great. But Bronny, he's a pretty good player, but he's just not his daddy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that don't mean he won't tear you up now, because Bronny has tore people up before. Now, when we get to last night, and as you know by now, for those that watch, the agent, Rich Paul, one of LeBron's best friends and the head of Clutch Sports, had made phone calls to other organizations saying, hey, bottom line, and I'm paraphrasing, don't take him. Because if you do take him, he's going to go to Australia. Whether that's true or not, we never will know now. But it was put out saying, listen, don't even draft him. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't test us. Obviously, we know that didn't happen. 55 came up, and the Lakers picked him there. And it is what it is. Now, you got to go deeper now. Just in case you don't know, LeBron James' contract, he has an opt-in clause or opt-out, which means if he opts in, he'll be making $51 million with the Lakers as a player option. Or he can opt out and quite possibly get more with whoever. He'll be an unrestricted free agent. However, nobody believes he's leaving the Lakers. He probably, when he opts out, he probably gonna get more money to play next year. That 51 may turn into 60. It might turn into 55, 56 million a year. And that probably will be LeBron James, as far as NBA goes. This probably will be his last contract. He'll be 40 in December. So however many years he signs for, probably no more than 2 to 3 years, he'll get that money. Okay. So you can't blame him, number one, for having that. Now, a lot of people have a problem with LeBron having this much power. Just last week, they got his friend JJ Redick to be the head coach, of which they say LeBron didn't have nothing to do with it. We know that's a lie. And then, of course, they drafted his son, something that LeBron had a dream of. Now, I'll go ahead and say this. Were there better players available at 55 other than Bronny? Yes, there were. Are there players that probably were better than Bronny? I say yes, there were. I will say yes, there were. But because of LeBron not being signed, or the assumption is he's going to opt out, it puts the Lakers in position that they had better give him what he wants. Because he can flip the script on you at any time, even though nobody believes that he would. But he can flip the script. And the Lakers just not going to take that chance. So they did step one in kind of ensuring, since he said he want to play with his son, but the only way that you're going to do that is unless you re-sign with the Lakers. So it's obvious, and since he hadn't given any indication to the Lakers what he was going to do, although they have a good idea of knowing what he's going to do as far as his contract, if you was the owner or the general manager of the Lakers, what were you going to do? Now, does that make the Lakers wrong for that? That's debatable, but this draft pick of 55 is bigger than basketball. It's bigger. Drafting Bronny James to the Lakers has more. It has more avenues to it than just say we drafted you to play for the Lakers. No. It has a whole. It's not at face value. It's not just drafting him. It has a lot of extra stuff that comes along with drafting him. We heard Rob Pelinka say it today, the general manager of the Lakers. What did he say? If y'all saw the interviews, one of the things he said is about, number one, the business side. Let's get this clear real quick. At 55, not too many guys make the team at 55. So this goes to a lot of the people that start talking about, hey, he gonna take somebody's spot on the bench. No, the people that make the team, get drafted in the second round, a lot of them are playing in the G League. That's just the truth. A lot of them are playing in the G League. A lot of them are. That's where a lot of them will be playing. All these guys that we saw in the second round will be playing in the G League. He has to be developed. You heard the Lakers say that. That don't mean that he gonna get a jersey and sit on the end of the bench. That don't mean that. It means that they drafted him for that. Number two, what they said about what Rob Pelinka said, and here was the kicker. Just sell it all. He said that the idea of having the first father-son duo to play in the NBA together would be so great, and all of this would be happening in a Los Angeles Lakers uniform. That ain't got nothing to do. That sound like a prop or a whatever you want to call it. That sounds like the initiative to make it happen. So it's about business. Look at the business that already happened. When has the NBA ever televised the second round of the draft? That's called the Bronny effect. That's the only reason why everybody was watching last night, to see if history possibly could happen. They've never. Last night was the first time, that the NBA televised the second round of the draft. It's only because Bronny was in there. So you already see the dividends of it. The Laker games are already sold out. There's a waiting list for people to get tickets for the Lakers. It's always been a sellout. Even when the Lakers were bad, they were always sold out. Can you imagine the night that possibly LeBron and his son play together? Can you imagine the media coverage that will happen on that night? Can you just imagine all of that stuff? It's a business. The Lakers have always been about the business. They always have. Now, here's my thing, and I'm going to make y'all mad in a minute. Y'all hang with me for those that are here. For those that are talking about LeBron and too much power, all of that stuff, can I ask all you fathers that are in here, what lengths would you go for your children? And if you have the power, wouldn't you use it? Because most of us want the best for our children. And most of us do not want our children to go through some of the things that we had to go through. You don't want them to go there. You don't want them to have a worse life than what you have. You want them to have a better life. And if you have the power to make that happen, I'm just talking to your dad is in here, and those that may be watching this replay. Wouldn't you do the same thing? Wouldn't you? Don't you want the best for your children, your son, your daughter? And if you have the opportunity to make that happen, wouldn't you do it? See, it's bigger than basketball. This is about a father and his dream. He wants to play with his son. And then at the same time, he's making sure that his son starts off the right way with an organization that is known for taking care of their people. Case in point, this ain't nothing new with the Lakers. I'm sorry if you're not a Laker fan, then you wouldn't know nothing about this. But the Lakers have always taken care of their stars. This go way back. They took care of Magic Johnson. They took care of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Their Lord knows they took care of Shaq. And Lord knows they took care of Kobe Bryant. They paid Kobe when they knew that the Lakers weren't going anywhere. We weren't even championship contenders in Kobe's latter years. But they took care of him by paying them money. They took care of him. The Lakers have always done this. Huh? Well, Hunt's point, that's the part that you're not, and I agree with some of what you're saying, but the part about at least this situation is Bronny did work hard. I just gave you his resume of how he got to the league. I understand that he only averaged whatever, 4 points a game, whatever, but you also got to keep in mind the young man had a cardiac arrest, and less than a year later, he's drafted. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that my word is the end all be all. I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just saying you can't dismiss the fact that Bronny did work hard. He did. He earned the right to be in the draft. He earned the right to get drafted. He earned the right to be a McDonald's All-American. He earned his college scholarship that he got. He earned it. He worked hard to get it. He did. Before he went to the scouting combine, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, he was not ranked. And he went to the scouting combine. I think he had 18 or 25 threes, had a vertical jump over 40 inches, which means he can get up in there. Had scrimmage games in which he did well and all, showed that he can shoot the ball, especially going 18 for 25 from the three-point line. He moved up into the rankings, right around, they said 52. I mean, if they ain't move him up further than that, but I'm just saying. Kid worked hard. LeBron didn't shoot them balls for him. He shot them. LeBron didn't scrimmage with them other people that was trying to move up so they can improve their draft status. Bronny worked. It's just the truth. That's what happened. Now, Is it a coincidence, however, that he got drafted, of course, to the Lakers? No, it's not a coincidence. No. But everybody worked hard to make sure LeBron, of course, got what he wanted. Why? Because LeBron technically, he got a couple days to opt out. If he opts out, he's a free agent, which means any team can come to him and offer God knows what. They gave him what he wanted. One of those requirements was, get my boy. I want my boy to be with me. And if he's not here in Los Angeles, wherever he get drafted, there's a possibility because I want to play with my son. That's what he said. I could pack my bags and go on where my son is. The Lakers not going to take that chance. That's why he got drafted to the Lakers. That's why. Now, the other teams that were before that, they drafted according to what they needed. Bronny obviously was not what they needed. Because remember, a lot of people said, well, he's not an NBA prospect. Well, whether that's true or not, time will tell. And like I said, Bronny is not going to play with the main roster anyway. Bronny is going to be probably playing G League ball. But that moment will come where LeBron and Bronny will be together. Whether that's the preseason games, whether that's a one game or two, he going to get called up and play with his daddy one game. It's going to happen. The Lakers made sure that it happened. Now, the other thing is he got drafted at 55. If the Lakers were so desperate, they would have drafted him, at 17, but he won the first round pick. That would have been too obvious. They didn't draft him at 17. They drafted him at 55. So he got drafted since he was ranked, I believe, 52. He got drafted at 55. That's about where everybody had him if he was going to get drafted. So it turned out right, and he earned it. He did. Now, this is it, and I'm almost through, y'all. So let me say this. It's amazing to me to see the amount of comments regarding LeBron. And everybody think, of course, that he's the master puppeteer of this whole thing. And he probably is. But he earned the right to be that. This is not the first time the Lakers have given players power like this. Magic Johnson had this type of power. Kobe Bryant had this type of power. Magic and Kobe had the type of power that can get a coach fired, can get a coach hired, can get the players that they wanted, can get rid of the players that they didn't want to have. Magic and Kobe are the two Lakers that had this type of power. Shaquille didn't have this type of power. And part of that reason why was because Jerry West was still living, of course, and was still in charge of the Lakers at that time in the front office. You weren't going to tell Jerry West what to do and what not to do. Magic and Kobe are the only two Lakers that had this type of power. And LeBron, obviously, has this type of power. And they gave him, even with J.J. Redick, and now with Bronny, they have let him dictate the organization. Is it wrong? That's up to your perspective. I personally don't like it because the only reason why I'm saying that is because LeBron won't be here in a couple of years. And it's amazing how he has so much power like that. And it's amazing how much power that person has when he ain't going to be here in about another 2 years. To me, they should have been in bringing in Anthony Davis, even though that's what they're promoting. And since they want to keep him, And I know people have different opinions on Anthony Davis, but he's still one of those real good players in the league, and he will be the cornerstone of the franchise in a couple of years for real. And you should have been asking him, not a guy that's getting ready to go out the door. But LeBron is still so good that the pecking order still is LeBron. So I understand it. So the Lakers have already taken care of their people. But here's the part that I really want, that just frustrates me. See, people want to act like this is the first time this has ever been done, and it is, a son with a father. But it's not the first time that people have been taking care of their children in sports. This is not. Need I remind y'all about Eli Manning when he first got drafted to? A lot of people just automatically think he got drafted to the Giants. No, he first got drafted to the San Diego Chargers. And his daddy, Archie Manning, said he will never play with the Chargers. The Chargers drafted Eli Manning, number 1 overall. They drafted him anyway. And Archie Manning, his daddy, stepped in and said Eli Manning will not play for the San Diego Chargers. He needs to go to the New York Giants. Again, the daddy told the organization what to do and told them what he's not going to do, even though they drafted him. And before you know it, guess what happened, y'all? That was a trade. Eli Manning played his whole career with the New York Giants. Not the first time. Y'all got mad at Mr. Ball. How he did Lonzo Ball and LaMelo Ball and tried to get his other son in. A dad was telling the organization, my son ain't gonna play there. My son need to play with the Lakers. He's from Chino Hills, California. Y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that? This is not the first time that a father has taken care of his son. It's not the first time. It's not the first time. Need I remind you, we ain't got to go too far in the back. We can just look at last year and the year before that. Do I need to remind you of Deion Sanders with his 2 sons? Shador Sanders and the safety that plays defense. He left Jackson State and told everybody, we already got our quarterback. Shador, I'm bringing him with me, Shador, automatically come in, start in day 1, period. Huh? Have y'all forgotten? A lot of people didn't like that. They made a villain out of Deion. They made a villain out of Mr. Ball with his Lonzo Ball and LaMelo Ball and trying to get his other son in. And then, of course, today, they're acting a fool about LeBron doing it. This ain't the first time. But here's the strange thing, y'all. Here's the strange thing. He said, did the boy from Chino average 4 points in college? Nope, he did not. Lonzo Ball was great. LaMelo Ball was great too. No question about it. But you also got Mr. Music. The man just came from having cardiac arrest. He almost died. That's the reason why he only averaged 4 points, because he joined the team back in January. The season started, I believe, in whenever college basketball starts. I don't want to throw out the wrong month. But he came back just after having a heart attack. So that's another whole issue in itself, because the man almost didn't make it. So for him to come back and play, of course he wasn't going. He was on restricted minutes. I mean, come on, y'all. He was on restricted minutes when he came back. He couldn't go full. But prior to that, Mr. Music, as I said, and I believe you just joining in, but if you haven't, if you are just joining in, the boy was a McDonald's All-American. In high school, he earned a full scholarship to USC. Even though you say he averaged 12 in high school, he was a McDonald's All-American. LeBron, that had nothing to do with that. He earned it. He earned a full scholarship to USC. He had choices. He earned it. So it's not like he can't play. He can play. There's no question about that. He ain't his daddy. The level of his father. But that don't mean he can't play. The kid can play. If you seen any YouTube videos on him, you seen any of his highlights, he can play. He's just not LeBron James Sr. You know what I'm saying? But who he is. So we're not going to dismiss it like he just some total garbage. He's not garbage. The boy can play. He had to work. His daddy was naturally gifted. Bronny had to work a little bit. And he worked it to the point where he got a full scholarship. And the NBA changed up and said this kid is right in the 52 as far as ranking goes, the 52nd highest ranked, whatever, on the draft board. 52nd rated, 52 rated guy on the board. Got drafted at 55. Guess what? That's about where he was supposed to be. Now, it's not a coincidence that he with the Lakers now. So, we know that. We understand the business. We understand satisfying LeBron, and we understand it. But what's being hidden is the kid can play. He can. But here, let me go back to my point. Here's my point. And I just named 4 examples. This is the problem I got. Everybody got something to say about Dion and him taking care of his kids. Everybody talked about Mr. Ball when he took care of Lonzo Ball and LaMelo Ball and tried to take care of his other son, tried to get him in the league. Everybody, of course, today talking about LeBron and using the word nepotism and all that type of stuff. And if it is nepotism, so be it. But ain't nobody said nothing about Archie Manning when he took care of Eli. Ain't nobody said nothing. Nobody said nothing about that. Nobody. They applauded Eli Manning for going to the Giants. Nobody say nothing. Nobody. The almighty Manning family. Nobody say nothing. And all my Cowboy fans here, ain't nobody saying nothing about Jerry Jones and got his whole family, all his children in front office positions. Nobody ain't saying nothing about that. Nobody. Stephen Jones, for you Cowboy people, Stephen Jones is the vice president. His daughter is over the marketing and all that stuff. And then Jerry Jones Jr., I don't even know what he do. I don't even know what he do, but he's right there on. If you look at the pecking order or the chart of the Cowboys, he got all his children there. Nobody ain't saying nothing about that. Now, they may have said something about Stephen Jones as far as, he don't need to be in the spot that he in. But overall, nobody said nobody has these problems. Nobody. And that leads me to this, because see, I'm going to make you mad. See, oh Lord, y'all pray for me here. Y'all pray for me. It is universally known. It has been universally proven for decades. I'm going to say it again. Nobody said nothing about Eli Manning being covered by his daddy telling the San Diego Chargers at the time that even though y'all drafted him number 1, he not gonna play for the Chargers. He told them that my son is gonna play for the New York Giants, although the Chargers drafted him. But I ain't say nothing about that. They applauded it actually. Nobody ain't saying nothing about Jerry Jones taking care of his children. But oh Lord, when the black father who has power takes care of their children, they're villainized. I just gave you the examples. Dion, although he was, the excitement level for him going to Colorado was there were many that were saying Dion got the audacity to come in here and think he running something. When Mr. Ball was trying to get Lonzo in and LaMelo in and the other son, they definitely villainized Mr. Ball. Y'all know that. And I be dang. They definitely villainizing LeBron. It's because, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, my word is not the end all be all. And there are so many different angles to this whole story. But one thing I know for sure, it's bigger than basketball. Were there people better than Bronny? Probably. Could the Lakers have picked somebody else? Probably. Is it set up that this guy gonna be with the Lakers? Of course it is. LeBron has the organization by the throat almost. That they have to do what he wants if they want to keep him. Of course all this is set up. It was planned out perfectly. But as far as this type of power goes, they don't want certain people to have this type of power. It's a problem. It always has been. Matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. Whatever field that is in, a black man with that type of power has always been a problem in this country. Now, a lot of y'all gonna say I'm racist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not being racist. I'm just telling the truth. Well, I even take your comment, Mr. Music. Should Bronny? So what I'm saying, just based off your last statement, saying that somebody's son cried on draft night. I guess what you're kind of saying is that LeBron's son shouldn't have even been drafted. And I just told you where the NBA had him ranked, right around 52. After the draft combine and his performance for those couple of days there, his stock went up. And again, this is not gonna hurt the Lakers because, like I said before, the Nikola Jokic's, the Jokers who were drafted in the second round, it's rare when the guys like that, turn out to be like the Joker is. Draymond Green was drafted in the second round, early in the second round, but he was drafted in the second round. It ain't too many guys. There are going to be some exceptions to the rule. It is what it is. But usually guys like that play in the G League. Giannis Antetokounmpo, how you pronounce his last name? Giannis from Milwaukee. He got his brother there. Nobody ain't saying nothing about that. Brother hardly played. He's just known as a cheerleader. That's what he's known as. Extra hype on the sideline. Giannis told me a while because he had the power. If you want to make him happy at the time, it was time for the sign. It was time to sign Giannis to the big deal that he got. But one of the things that he said, obviously, is I want my brother with me. Milwaukee wasn't going to take no chance of losing Giannis. So what did they do? They signed his brother. You see what I'm saying? See, once you have the power, you can use it to your advantage. That's what Giannis did. And that's what LeBron James did. It ain't too many. It ain't too many guys that elevate to this level of power. It's not many. It's not many. It's not many. Well, he did win with his brother. His brother was on the team when they won the championship a couple years ago. His brother was on the team. Mr. Music. His brother was on the team when they won the championship a couple years ago. So it's not many. And in basketball, you'll find it more in basketball than in any other sport. Because it's just different. The basketball on this level is about the only organization where the players really got full control. They can get a coach fired. They can get a coach hired. They can get rid of players on the team. If you on that level or stardom, you can make all you can. It's not the GM that controls the team. LeBron has controlled organizations. He controlled Cleveland. He did not control Miami because Pat Riley was there, and Pat Riley don't bow down to nobody. He's just as big as LeBron was. He couldn't run that, which is part of the reason why he left. But when he came to LA, he run the Lakers. He got coaches fired. He got coaches hired. Coaches who had winning records and they got fired because, LeBron and whoever else didn't think that was going to get the job done. LeBron got players in, Russell Westbrook and all these type guys. LeBron did all this. But let's put it this way, for those who want to be technical. That was not a decision made in the organization if LeBron didn't know about it. Let's just say that. Same thing with J.J. Redick. Bam. LeBron, come on now. Man was doing a podcast with J.J. Come on now. And he dictated that his son comes to the Lakers. I don't have no problem with either one. And to go back to the statement where it was said somebody's son cried on draft night. Well, like I said, he was ranked 52. He got drafted at 55. That's about where he was going to get drafted anyway. So I don't quite know about that. So I will agree you somebody's son did cry, but it may have not been because of Bronny. Although I'm saying, were there better selections? Probably so. But like I said, this is unusual draft pick. It ain't got basketball really was not the number one, reason why. This is not face value. This had a lot of other things that was attached to this draft pick. And based off that, Bronny failed right where he was supposed to because it was bigger than basketball. The Lakers aren't counting on Bronny James to lead them to no championship. Bronny James going to be playing just in a couple days from now. You will see him in the summer league. That's number one. And then he'll get a chance to go to training camp and perhaps make a team. Now that's when your statement might be true. Like Is he gonna make the actual team? And then you got to start saying, okay, now who they gonna sacrifice? And if it's a player from last year that actually was on the team and they made a spot for Bronny, then we can start talking a whole different thing. Then. But usually, guys like that play in the G League. See, if he plays in the G League, nobody really ain't gonna say nothing. But if he makes the team, I mean, we're gonna have have to have some conversations. But as far as a daddy taking care of his son, I just go ahead and say this. It couldn't have been me. Cause see, forget 55. I would have drafted my son at 17. How about that? Shh. I mean, you can't blame LeBron for taking care of his son. Bronny was already a millionaire. He been a millionaire. Bronny had NIL deals. He was already a millionaire. You didn't need the money of the NBA. Bronny is listen, if you want to get biblical, for all of y'all that got a problem with it, this is what the Bible says. Forgive me for bringing up my preacher, the preacher in me out. But I am what I am. A father, scripture says, leaves an inheritance for his children's children. In other words, his great-grandchildren. Start by the inheritance is left with his children. Then his children have children, and that inheritance that the father gave away, or the children have access to, it's supposed to go down to generations. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron has been a great father, according to scripture. God knows he has an inheritance. He's a billionaire. He's a walking blueprint for both of his sons how to get to the NBA. His son Bryce is better than Bronny. He's gonna be in the NBA. I'm talking about he ain't gonna be drafted at 55. Bryce James is going to be in the lottery. He'll be round 1. That's how good he is. I don't know if y'all ain't watching, but if you don't ain't seen him, go pull up YouTube, just type in Bryce James, just sit back and watch. LeBron has showed his children. I mean, I don't know if he's given anything. I don't know that, and you don't know it either. But when it comes to this, Bronny James was a high school All-American. He had to play to get that. You just can't go off the name on the back of the jersey. He earned a full scholarship to USC. LeBron didn't play for him. He earned it. He earned it. I think that because of the shadow of his father is there, that everybody kind of dismissing, like I said earlier, that he can play. And he can play. He just not his daddy, which is an unfair comparison, but that's what come along with the territory for Bronny. He'll never escape that. I don't understand all the negativity from other fathers who act like they wouldn't have done the same thing for their children. That's the problem I got. And like I said in my post earlier today, if you're one of the ones that don't take care of your children, you shouldn't even be talking in the first place. You should be disqualified from the conversation, because what we're talking about, you have no clue about. A father taking care of his son. Here's the other part. So a part of people say, well, he's a grown man. Ladies and gentlemen, when does parenting really stop? Come on, y'all. Parenting don't never stop. Parenting stop when you die. And in some cases, it goes beyond then. It goes beyond even death. I don't care how old you are. You're the same age difference from your father on the day that you were born up until this present moment, my father is still living. I don't have to ask him for anything. But if I needed it, my daddy is going to be my daddy. And what did my daddy do ever since I've been here? He took care of his son. No matter the age, the daddy filled in and made things happen. Y'all leave LeBron alone for making things happen for his son. That's what a daddy is supposed to do. And if you have the power to make some roads that aren't there, and because of your power, you can make the road happen, or you can make the road appear, you would use the same power that LeBron did. And you know you would. So I have a problem with that. The basketball end of it, hey, that's gonna be on Bronny with his skill set. He got there, now he got to prove it. That's gonna be on Bronny. His daddy can't save him. We'll see. But as far as making the road smoother for him, making things happen when he has that power, y'all ain't talking about nothing. That's what I call a good father. It just so happened to be in the avenue of sports. But the role of a father is universal in all areas. Fathers, here's the rule. Fathers taking care of their children. That's the role of the father. Part of it, take care of your children. Whatever avenue, whatever profession, whatever, the fathers take care of their children. LeBron James just so happened to be in the avenue of a situation that looks like all his sons love, and that is playing basketball. As much as basketball has given to LeBron James and much power as he's had ever since he was in high school, if you can maneuver things around for the betterment of yourself and your children. LeBron made it for the betterment of his teammates in Cleveland, won the championship there. He had something to do with things in Miami, made the situation happen there. Came to the Lakers, won his, whatever you want to call it, bubble championship, whatever. The bottom line is he won it. He won it there, made it things better for him and his teammates. Then it shouldn't be no surprise, or nothing really should be said for him making better things for his own son. It just don't make any sense to me. What the problem is, if LeBron's son can't play on the NBA level, the Lakers will not even bring him up if he don't make it. They're not gonna get a spot there. This move was all about satisfying LeBron James. That's what this moved last night really was all about. Satisfying LeBron James because he's about to opt out of the contract and he will be a free agent. And the Lakers, of course, want him to retire as a Los Angeles Laker. They did what he asked. JJ Redick is there. He wanted to play with his son because he said it a couple years ago. They made it happen. That at least part of that equation is now fixed. Now they go to him and say, LeBron, we've done it all. Will you please sign this contract? We've done what you asked. We sacrificed. We got a coach who ain't never coached fourth grade basketball with his sons. He's never coached high school. He's never coached college. He's never coached in the pros, but we know you liked him. We know you wanted him. We hired him. We, from a couple years ago, that you said that before you retire, you wanted to play basketball with your son. We made that happen. We've done what you asked. We've sacrificed the franchise for you. Will you please sign this extension? That's really what it was all about, yeah. Now, again, Bronny can play. Bronny can play. So it's not as grim as some folks are trying to paint it, like the boy can't play. He can play. He can play. And that's why I'm saying there's a lot of, if you're coming from just a basketball perspective, all of everybody's trepidations and comments in a negative way, really I don't perceive them negative, because as I said before, there probably were a couple players that were a better option than Bronny. I get it. I'm not gonna argue with you there at all. I'm not gonna argue that at all. From a basketball perspective, there could be some serious debate in a lot of different areas. But as I said before, this pick last night was bigger than just basketball. And that's obvious. Basketball was actually lower on the totem pole than it's a lot of stuff that was above just basketball. I think I saw my brother, angry Cowboy fan, come in and say it was just a feel-good story. Yeah, it is. That's what Rob Pelinka said yesterday. That the idea of having both them play in a Lakers uniform would be pretty special. So the Lakers want that moment. The Lakers want that big moment, history moment. They want that. That's the first thing he said. He started talking about Bronny and his skill set and what he can do later on. And he said right then, Bronny would be developed. In other words, he ain't there yet. That's what the G League is for. It's just that simple. Bronny needs to be developed. Guess what? That's why he playing in Summer League. He knows that. He's 19 years old. It is what it is. But it's more than just basketball. There's a lot of other stuff involved in this pick. And it was a special pick in a special situation. And it is what it is. It wasn't about basketball solely. It was about other options and other things. And the Lakers did what LeBron wanted to do. Now, should the man have that much power? No, but he does. He's not the first. Michael Jordan had this type of power. You can go down the list. Stockton and Malone, even though they didn't exercise it, but they had this type of power. Barkley in Philadelphia and in Phoenix had this type of power. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird had this type of power. They did. Isaiah Thomas had this type of power in Detroit. That he controls the organization. The list go on and on. Basketball is a little different. Basketball is different than any other sport as far as it really is a players' league. It really is. Football, it ain't gonna happen because the owners are usually old and set in their ways, and they ain't gonna let nobody run an organization. Brady had power, but he ain't had that much power. He stopped in the end with Mr. Kraft. Mr. Kraft wasn't in the camera like Jerry Jones, but Brady had a lot of power, but he ain't had that type of power, and he definitely didn't have it over Belichick. You see what I'm saying? Football is not it. Whoever your greatest player is, they don't have that type of power. Look, just for instance, your MVP of the NFL was Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson don't run Baltimore. Lamar Jackson won 2 MVPs. Guess what? And Ray Lewis in his retirement has more power than Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens right now. And we all know, for those of us that watch football, we know Ray Lewis ran the Baltimore Ravens. But how much? Did he have total power? No, because the people in the front office shut that down. The owner would shut that down. Rather than then the end. Listen. The players run it so much that the players from other teams got Donald Sterling fired. Y'all remember that? Donald Sterling, the owner of the Clippers, who made those racial remarks about Magic Johnson and stuff. It was the other players from other teams that were told the commissioner of the league, we can't play. We no, you got to get out of here, or we ain't playing. That's how much power the players got. It's only in the NBA. And I'll say it again. There are a lot of people that have problems. Ain't nobody going to admit it, but it's the truth. There's a lot of people that have problems with African-American men having that type of power. I'm just calling it like it is. I got too much history on my side. And whatever profession that you want to talk about, that's just the truth. People can't stand Deion Sanders and his arrogance that's perceived because he got that much power in Colorado. And there's a lot of people that got a serious problem with LeBron James because he has this type of power that he can dictate a coach, dictate a draft pick, dictate an organization, get coaches fired, get coaches hired. That's too much power, some people say. Just the truth, y'all. All right, I appreciate y'all having, but as far as LeBron James being a daddy, salute. I don't care what nobody say. He did what a father does. That's how I end it. He did what a father should do. And that is take care of your children. He did that. And in a day now where fathers are being criticized, fathers are sometimes absent, fathers are whatever another negative criticism or stereotype that is being said, this man, LeBron James, cannot be criticized at all for being a father. He did it. He did it. And he should be commended for what he has done. And again, I say, and I'll close with this. If it was you, you would have done the same thing for your children. All right, I'm done. Listen, tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I'll be back on my Cowboy. At 3 o'clock, we're going to talk Cowboy talk on tomorrow. But I had to put this in because it was burning. I heard so much about this. So it is what it is. Kudos to LeBron James. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central, we'll be back on the Cowboys, and we will be there. Hope some of you guys can join me. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to me. I'm out. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. This has been the Big Time Show.